Picture a man standing barefoot in a meadow, his voice soft as a breeze, speaking not to kings or crowds, but to the birds fluttering above him. This is Saint Francis of Assisi, a name that rings through time like a song carried on the wind. He wasn't a soldier wielding steel or prophet shouting from mountaintops, but a humble soul who turned the wild into his cathedral and the creatures of the earth into his congregation. Today, we are stepping into his world, a tale so wondrous it feels like a fable, where love and faith weave a bond between man and nature. Who was Francis? Born in 1181 or 1182 in the bustling town of Assisi, Italy, his full name was Giovanni di Pietro di Bernardone, though the world knows him as Francis. He's not a figure from the pages of Scripture, but a saint of the Church, a founder of the Franciscan order, and a man whose life echoes the spirit of Christ. They call him the patron saint of animals and the environment, a title earned not through decrees, but through a heart that saw God in every living thing. Francis came from a family of means. His father, Pietro Bernardone, was a wealthy cloth merchant, a man of ambition who dreamed of prestige for his son. His mother, Pica, was a gentle woman, possibly of French descent, who gave him a nickname Francesco, the Frenchman, a nod to her heritage or his father's trade ties. Francis was the eldest of 7 children, raised in a home of comfort and faith, though not overly strict. He grew up surrounded by the beauty of Umbria, a land of green hills and stone villages, and his early years were marked by a love of music, poetry, and the finer things, until a whisper from above changed everything. Francis's story begins not in holiness, but in the ordinary. As a young man, he was a dreamer, a reveler, even a would-be knight who rode off to war in shining armor, only to return broken and searching. It was in the ruins of a crumbling chapel, San Damiano, that he heard Christ speak from a crucifix. Francis, rebuild my church. He didn't wield power or wealth to answer that call. He gave them up, trading silk for sackcloth. And so began a life that would make him a legend, a man who spoke to wolves and preached to birds. In the next part, we'll wander into the wild with Francis, where his deeds blur the line between miracle and marvel. His gentleness, his joy, his unshakable love, they are the colors of a story that still shines today. Stay with me as we meet the man who tamed the untamable. If Francis of Assisi's life were a song, it would be a melody of peace, sung by the wind and echoed by the creatures of the earth. He didn't conquer with force. He won hearts with love, human and beast alike. Let's walk into 2 of his most legendary moments, where his character shines like the sun breaking through a storm. One tale takes us to Gubbio, a town terrorized by a ferocious wolf. Livestock vanished, children hid, and fear gripped the streets. The people begged Francis to help. Barefoot and unarmed, he went to meet the beast. "Brother Wolf," he called, his voice calm as a prayer. "You've done harm, but I want peace between you and these people." The wolf lowered its head, and Francis brokered a pact. The town would feed it, and the wolf would harm no one. It trotted into Gubbio like a tamed pup, living out its days in harmony. A miracle, a metaphor, whatever it was Francis, gentle yet bold, seeing a brother where others saw a foe. Then there's the sermon to the birds. One day, near Bavagne, Francis saw a flock perched in the trees. "My brothers and sisters," he said, "praise your Creator who gave you wings to soar and feathers to keep you warm." The birds didn't fly off. They stayed, chirping as if in chorus. Witnesses said they stretched their necks and spread their wings, listening to his words. Francis didn't just preach to humans. He saw all creation as part of God's family. That's the magic of his spirit. Wild things trusted him because he trusted in love. What shaped this man? His joy. For one, he sang through poverty and pain, finding delight in the smallest flower. His humility, too. He called himself God's little poor man, stripping away wealth to embrace simplicity. And his love, it was boundless, flowing from a heart that saw Christ in the leper, the sparrow, the wolf. He bore the stigmata, the wounds of Jesus, in his hands and feet, a mark of his closeness to the divine. Even sickness couldn't dim him. He wrote the Canticle of the Son, praising God through sun, moon, and stars as he lay dying. These feats, taming a wolf, preaching to birds, living in joyful poverty, paint a portrait of a man who danced with creation. But his story doesn't end in wonder. It leaves us lessons to carry forward. Let's explore those next. Francis of Assisi's life isn't just a fireside tale. It's a lantern lighting our path. When he spoke to wolves and birds, it wasn't mere spectacle. It was a testament to a faith that heals, a love that unites. What can we glean from this barefoot saint? What echoes of his spirit can we hold today? First, there's peace. Francis didn't fight the wolf. He befriended it, showing us that love can tame even the wildest storms. In our lives, we face conflicts, anger, division, fear. Francis whispers, seek peace. Reach out with kindness, not clenched fists, and trust God to mend what's broken. Then there's simplicity. Francis gave up riches for a life of want, yet he was richer in joy than any merchant. He teaches us to let go, maybe not of everything, but of the clutter that weighs us down. A simpler life, focused on what matters, faith, family, creation, brings freedom. His order, the Franciscans, carried that torch, living humbly to serve, influencing the church for centuries. And finally, reverence. Francis saw God's hand in every leaf, every creature. He reminds us to pause, to marvel at the world, not to exploit it, but to cherish it. His legacy lives on. Ecologists honor him, churches celebrate him, and his canticle still sings of a harmony we are called to restore. Francis's story tells us that faith isn't loud or proud. It's quiet, steady, and alive in the smallest acts. He spoke to birds and wolves, and through them, he speaks to us. Live simply, love deeply, trust wholly. That's the power he leaves behind, a power for us all. As we leave Francis's world, I see him there, barefoot, smiling, a friend to all creation. His life feels like a myth, but it's a truth we can touch. So, here's a question for you. What will roam your life today? Maybe it's a fear, a grudge. What would it look like to meet it with Francis's peace, his love? Think about it. In your days, your relationships, your corner of the world, how can simplicity bring you joy? How can reverence for the small things draw you closer to God? Francis's story isn't just history. It's a call to live with open hands and a full heart. I'd love to hear from you. Share below. What moves you about Francis? Have you ever felt a connection to the world like he did? Let's keep uncovering these sacred stories. Subscribe if you'd like to journey with me. Until next time, may your life sing with peace, and may God's beauty surround you.